The odds that Mrs. Fiberung were to retire that day after 30 years of service and set her car on fire inadvertently and narrowly preserve the Girl Scout cookies from its trunk and mosey on home eating them with great satisfaction and get there and find her son cavorting in the swimming pool with a girl when she had theretofore thought him uninterested in girls, and a letter of foreclosure on the house, and two lizards either fighting or mating on the kitchen table, and a volleyball net inexplicably strung in the backyard, and a complete inability to recall her husband and the nastiness of the divorce, and a strange and harmless man slumped in a corner of her garage whom she shooed away without calling the police, which was probably against principles of bourgeois suburban protocol, were incalculable. The odds. Who wished to calculate anything these days anyway? Who broached the notion of odds and their calculability? Her car was on fire, her son was in the pool with a girl, lizards were going at it on the table, the cookies were good. She felt better about life in general than she had in years. This is a gift horse not to look in the mouth, or the rear end either, for that matter. Let it be lame. Accept it. She called her son in and his girlfriend, and they stood there apprehensively dripping on the carpet, shivering a little, their shoulders narrowed under their towels, which were draped over them. Cavorting in the pool like that, with no one here to chaperone you, will make the neighbors talk, she said. Go up to your room. The girl looked from her to her son incredulously, and then followed her son, who had already started up to his room. Mrs. Fiberung hoped they took full advantage of this chaperoning. She was an expert militant chaperone and believed in the full exercise of the seditious power a chaperone was in position to wield. While she had thought her son homosexual, she had of course maintained there was nothing really wrong in that. But she now discovered a very strong sense of relief in herself, almost a joy, a high that she sought to confirm and prolong and deepen by sending the two of them to a private room. They were nearly pickled by the chlorinated water anyway, she had noticed. She put on a trench coat her husband had left and modeled in it before a full-length mirror, looking like a spy. Some odd words and ideas came nearly to her mind that she could not completely grasp or assemble. Furtiveclature was one of them. She took that thought out to the pool and got in a chaise, still in the coat, with a drink, and found that furtiveclature had shifted to Newman Bowls, or Newman Bolus. These entities in her head, whatever they were, suggested to her the idea that she wanted to become a radically different person from that she had been to this point in her life. Was that possible, or was it only an idea that everyone entertained once in a while, and like these oddball words, could not quite really possess or affect? Did the urge just not leave you, like these new words, incomplete and unformed and undefined? Was it not the case, for example, that in launching into a new you typically got about as far as drinking by your pool in a spy coat in the middle of the afternoon and hoping your son was seizing the day upstairs in his bedroom? Was it not more likely that the two of them would be regarding her now through the slit blinds of that room and speculating as to what was wrong with her, and that soon she would abandon the poolside chaise and return the coat to its hanger and be back exactly to herself after the girl went home properly unmolested? I suggest we leave Mrs. Fiberung upon the horns of her little dilemma on the grounds that she is as capable as we are of solving what are, after all, her trivial problems. We have problems of our own we might be better advised to inspect. To the extent that they, too, are trivial, we might well advise our own self to abjure them, too. To hell with Mrs. Fiberung and her little problems, and to hell with us and our little problems, and let us get on with it. The odd volleyball net is before us beside the pool that Mrs. Fiberung has quit. Husbands do leave, boys do stray, girls do play. The wide world of sports will cover about anything. Buttocks and spandex. Before the buttocks develop that large curd cottage cheese dimpling, one of the saddest things on earth and one of God's chief oversights. On the other hand, the buttocks before the curding is one of his proudest moments, and indeed one of the signal arguments for his existence. To see him working his way toward the human buttock, whether with the hand of the Darwinian selector or not, traveling from the hairy hind of quadrupeds to the fulgent, obscene turquoise and carmine noise of the baboon's operatic ass to the smooth, domed, cleaved, in the beginning firm as jello and perfect for spanking human buttocks, is to see a great mind at work, and to place the buttocks in that relation to the shitty rump of an ox or to the cloaca of the slithering beast is not less than placing the sun in relation to a planet. Because of the butt, God exists. I have a butt, or had a butt. Therefore I am the Son of God.